I'm joined now by Tory MP, Bradley Thomas. Bradley, thank you very much. Great to have you on the show. Is this a massive problem? Does this cut right to the heart of fairness that so many foreigners are living in social housing?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a massive problem, and I think people can see it in absolute plain sight. It's not just housing, it's pressure on GPs, it's pressure on infrastructure, it's the changing nature of high streets up and down the country. That's why I've been quite vocal in Parliament on calling for a crackdown on the money laundering and the people trafficking that's clearly changing the face of high streets. But the housing issue is a massive one that's been called out today. We've seen these ONS figures that say that 5 million people, migrants, are going to be settling in the UK between now and 2032. And let's face it, the government have pledged they want to build 1.5 million houses. Well, that won't even touch the sides.
No, it doesn't. This did all, of course, happen initially anyway, under the Conservative watch. That's 14 years. So how do you account for that? I mean, a lot of people now will have a lingering bad taste in their mouth because this happened under you guys.
Yeah, and look, we've been quite honest in saying we got this wrong. I think the reality is our country has become really quite hooked on cheap mass migrant labour. We were sort of sold this idea that this was the salvation to our economic woes, that we'd see economic growth and prosperity on the back of it. It hasn't worked for us. Kemi Badenoch has been quite honest. In the last few weeks, she's also said that our country is not a hotel and must not be treated as such. We have got to put the British taxpayer first.
It's difficult to see where we go now, though. I mean, without kind of knocking on people's doors and really forcing the deportation issue, which is tricky if they are now here legally and all of that. But I just want to whiz us on because there's something really interesting. I know our viewers and listeners are really going to find this fascinating. So you are calling on the government to introduce a migrant repayment scheme. Now, this is similar to the student loan, I believe. Should we have a little listen to how you initially decided to articulate this? So there you go.
Why is it that the government does not explore a scheme whereby if asylum seekers are genuinely deemed to be in fear and allowed to integrate and remain within the UK, that when they become economic contributors and they are active in the workplace, that they should not repay their debt through some similar scheme?
Yeah, so expand on that a bit then. So this is an idea about how asylum seekers can essentially, repay their debt to Britain?
Yeah, so it's a really simple proposition. This was actually put to me 12 months ago by a Conservative councillor, Adam Kent, who's in my constituency. And the proposition is dead simple. It's similar to the student loan system. We know that students, they go to university, they accrue a debt. When they're working, they pay that on a sliding scale that's deducted through their wages.
This proposal to make asylum seekers repay the costs of their stay in the UK is not just impractical, it's a fundamental betrayal of our shared humanity. It reveals a deeply flawed understanding of both the realities of seeking asylum and the very principles upon which a compassionate society is built. This isn't about burdening the taxpayer, as some would frame it, Nigel Farage. It's about recognising that those fleeing persecution, war, or imaginable hardship. Just think about it this way. What would you do in that situation? I bet you that the most of us would do the exact same thing. These are individuals desperately seeking safety, economic safety, or just safety in general, often from situations that we can scarcely comprehend. To treat them as debtors before they've even had a chance to rebuild their lives is not just cruel, but also short-sighted. The comparison to student loans is frankly insulting. Students choose their education, and they have the agency to work and plan for their future. Asylum seekers, on the other hand, are often stripped of their possessions, their livelihoods, and even their families. They face a complex and often arbitrary asylum process with waiting times stretching for years, during which they are forbidden from working. They then saddle them with massive debt accrued through no fault of their own, is to set them up for failure from the start. A truly liberal approach recognises our moral obligation to offer refuge to those in need. It understands that investing in integration rather than creating barriers, creating safe legal routes of migration, ultimately benefits society as a whole. They don't tell you this, but they need migration. This entire country needs migration, otherwise it falls dead. Allowing asylum seekers to work and contribute while their claims are being processed not only offers them dignity, but also boosts the economy and enriches our communities. Furthermore, this proposal distracts from the real issues plaguing our asylum system: bureaucratic inefficiency, lengthy processing times, and a lack of adequate support for both asylum seekers and the communities that host them. We must remember that these are human beings, they are not dogs. They're not just numbers on a spreadsheet, they are doctors, teachers, engineers, and families, individuals who have the potential to continuously contributes immensely to our society if given the chance. Just remember, these are people, and we need to treat them with dignity and compassion even if we do then deport them back to their own country. But we must recognise that there is a huge flaw in our own system of migration. That's why they choose these routes in the first place. But let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake. As always, follow the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.